Am I the asshole for not attending the wedding of my cousin and my ex-boyfriend? I, 32 female, was engaged. Ex-fiance was engaged to marry Travis, 33 male. But a couple of weeks before the wedding was supposed to take place, he said that he didn't want to get married. I asked him if he was cheating, and he said no. He told me that most of his friends were already marrying or starting families, so he thought it was time to settle down. But he had just realized that he didn't want to. Suffice to say, the wedding was canceled, and that was the end of our relationship. It's been about a year since that happened. Things haven't been exactly great, but I've managed. Well, some days ago, I received an invitation to the wedding of my cousin, Taylor, 26 female. Imagine my surprise when I read it and saw that my ex-fiance was the groom.
Good riddance.
I had only seen them barely interact during family meetings. I hadn't noticed any clues that pointed to anything happening between the two of them at the time. Some info about my cousin. She's what some people would call a free spirit. She doesn't have a conventional job. She works as an artist. She dyes her hair in unusual colors, sometimes blue, sometimes green, and dresses extravagantly. Once she wore a white robe. Another time she wore a black leather jacket and spiked boots. She says that she doesn't like following society's rules and that she only follows her own code. Immediately, I called my parents. I asked them if they had known something about Taylor's relationship with Travis. To summarize, yes, they did. They hadn't intended on telling me because they figured out there would be no positive outcome to it, but they also made it clear that they expected me to come to the wedding anyways in order to show support to my family. At this point, I lost it and shouted that they were delusional if they believed that I would go to the wedding of my cheating liar ex and his manic pixie dream girl. They said that I can't keep holding on to my hatred and resentment forever and that I need to let it go. I hung up on them. My extended family has been blowing up my phone since then, saying that I'm a bad person if I don't attend. Right now, I feel so confused, betrayed, and disappointed. I'm no longer sure if I'm being irrational or not. So I think it might be best to ask for an outside point of view.
Okay, your family sucks. Your ex-fiance sucks. Your cousin sucks.
Everyone sucks. Except OP.
Wait, I cannot believe Junie's up in arms too right now. She's like, no, the cousin. She's like, not the cousin. She's like, the cousin, disgusting. No, that's actually insane. I actually can't believe that.
The gaslighting they're doing to her.
Also, I cannot imagine like not even knowing that your cousin is getting married to your ex and your parents didn't tell you. Your family knew and they never even told you.
It's just weird. Like, it's always more hurtful to be lied to for an extended period of time, even if it's lying by omission. Just tell me.
Yes.
Give me the choice and the opportunity to not care, or then at least be able to process my feelings a whole lot sooner.
Yes, 100%.
Am I the asshole for not letting my toxic sister-in-law have my mother's dress? Excuse my language, English is not my first language. So for some context, I, 25 female, married my husband, 27 male, after being together for almost 10 years. We've now been married for 3 years. Everyone from my side of the family was so happy for our relationship and was on board with our marriage. But my husband's side of the family didn't like our relationship, and my mother-in-law wanted my husband to get married to another woman. My husband has a brother and a sister, and he has a strained relationship with everyone in their family. My father-in-law, the sole decision maker in their house, wanted this marriage as it would be an advantage for his business with my brother. My brother has a very successful business, and my father-in-law needed a business contract from him. And so he reluctantly agreed to our marriage. I live in India, so it's very common to live as a joint family, but we wanted privacy and decided to live on our own. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law constantly try to create problems between me and my husband. They often come to our house and find faults with my way of running a family. So this one time they came over to our house and they were super nice to me. We had our lunch, and after, my mother-in-law demanded that I give my mother's red sari, it's an Indian garment, to my sister-in-law, along with a jewelry that my dad himself self-made for my mother. That piece of clothing and jewelry has a very sentimental meaning to me. Dad and Mom are no longer with us. Even I don't wear it unless it's to a very, very important event. The last time I wore it, it was to my wedding. I told them very nicely that I won't be able to give her the sari, as it's very important to me. Now, my mother-in-law is calling me selfish for not sharing the sari with my sister-in-law, as it's very common to share clothing and jewelry. I told them that I'm willing to share any other clothing and jewelry, but not this one. But they only want this sari. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law went on and on about how I haven't adopted to their family traditions and haven't taken their family name and stuff. My husband is on my side, and he has also explained to them how important this is to me, but they accused me of changing their son and being the reason that he doesn't love them anymore. He asked them politely to leave our house and not to cause any more problems. They say I'm causing a big fuss over a sari, but it's not just a sari or a piece of jewelry to me. Am I the asshole for not giving them this sari?
No. Oh my gosh. My heart is pounding for this girl. There's so many layers to this, but no, you're not the asshole. It seems like the sari is just a gateway to a ton of other issues. In India, there's a lot of kind of mother-in-law horror stories that happen with brides, and it's heartbreaking. So many people, I couldn't name one family that doesn't have a situation like that to some degree of mother-in-law doesn't like bride, mama's boy, whatever. I'm not saying this guy's mama's boy. I don't know. But before you even said the word India, I was like, damn, this feels like, this feels like more people. And sure enough, but I was like, oh, maybe it's somewhere else. Nope, they're Indian. I have saris from my nani, which is my grandma, from my mom's wedding too, that are so sentimental, and I don't even touch them either. It's so sentimental and there's so much value, and I would only ever wear it to my wedding too. And I think that they should understand that if they're wanting to connect with her at all and understand how emotional, the emotional ties she has to this garment.
Yeah.
Also in India, do you know how much fabric there is available you could remake that sari. You could go buy the same sari at the same, if it's an older one, you can get it remade very similar. Why do they have to have that one? I think they're fixating on something to try and turn the sun against them. And it's not helping the mom's case and the sister's case that he's backing his wife, which is so refreshing to see, because
I know
a lot of men, in my experience, don't. They'll just cower to the mom because they're used to it and leave the wife hanging. So good on him for supporting his wife.
he's really going to bat and advocating for her. It is interesting that she is being very open and any other piece of clothing, any other jewelry, but not this. And it's interesting that they went and are almost going after these two pieces because of the significant value. It almost feels like it's some sort of power struggle to we're gonna take this, we're gonna use this, and you're gonna like it. I'm really glad she did say no and was able to hold on to that and not fall into the people pleasing or trying to not rock the boat, because it's easy to do that. It's easy to just be okay, yeah, and then worst case, something terrible happens to this sari, she never gets it back, or it gets spilled on, it gets torn, it gets ruined. It's just so odd. And it's you're trying to mend this relationship because it is strained, and yet you're not respecting her and you're not willing to value. It's so crazy. It's her parents are gone.
I know.
This is maybe one of the only things she has.
But I'm not even surprised at all about this story. I think they're testing her to see if she'll budge for the sake of the larger family. It's very uncommon for families to live apart. Everybody lives in the same household. That's how my families grew up too. Grandparents, your siblings, aunts, uncles, however many people can fit. So there's already probably a power shift there between the parents who've been controlling their choices all their lives. And now all of a sudden your son could have been the one to be I don't want to live with my parents anymore. But they're going to blame the daughter because, of course, she's the new person in their life.
Easy.
And so I feel like the parents are probably just trying to test with the thing that they know she's not going to be willing to give up. And yes, we share lehengas and saris and stuff like that. But for me, I would not necessarily, for somebody that I don't think has my best interest at heart, I'm not going to give you my wedding outfit, especially if it's from somebody else in my family that I'm no longer have. I'd frame that. I would frame that sari.
I would too. I'd be in a box. You said something and it just turned a thought in my head. Maybe the reason they asked for that sari and jewelry is because she knew, they knew she would say no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then it's all the more reason to be well, she's not being a family member and she doesn't like us. It's it's just the perfect ammo.
Yeah. They're fishing for her to finally do something that's against them, to tell the son, like, look at what you're, like, she's not even giving your sister her outfit. Like, it's not even a big deal type of thing. And I'm so thankful that he's defending his wife in the situation because, again, I really don't think that's that common. Poor girl. She's probably like, did I make the right choice? Now, like, there's a strain here. But I mean, I hope she knows that she absolutely did. I would not.
No,
she's not the asshole.
Not
in
the asshole
least.
at all.
Oh, sweet angel.
One time I was babysitting my friend's kids and their son asked me if I could help him with his math homework. And I said, yeah, sure. I'm not very good at math, but we'll take a look and we'll see what we can do. And his little sister, who was like 5, by the way, and standing right next to us said, oh, you're not good at math? And I said, no, but I'm sure you're great at math, because I didn't want to perpetuate the stereotype that girls are bad at math. And she said, I know I'm good at math. And I was like, that's great. And she said, what's 5 plus 5? And I said, 10. And she said, what's 5 plus 5 plus 2? And I said, 12. And she went, seems like you're pretty good at math to me. And then she just walked away. I just thought, you're gonna go on to do great things, child. Can I use you as a reference for my resume? I love that I told her I was bad at math and she was just like, that's suspicious. That's weird. And then she corrected me on it. But she's 5 and she changed my perspective on me, on math. I was like, yeah, I am good at math. Why did I ever let people tell me in elementary school of all things, like, who tells an 8-year-old that they're bad at math? That is so stupid.